My name is Charlene One On One, student at African Nazarene University, pursuing mass communication, majoring in broadcast journalism and public relations. I'm interning at the Supreme Court Communications Department. It's called the Directorate for Public Affairs and Communications. My daily work involves, we start the day quite early at around by 7, because there is media review for starters, whereby we go through all the daily newspapers, be it the Nation, Standard, Business Daily, all of them, to check if there's anything pertaining the judiciary or court cases or anything of the sort. That's from the wee hours of the morning, from 7 till around 8:30. Then from that, we stay tuned in case like any of the communication officers in the office require any of our assistance, be it in there's quite a range of activities. We can't say there's a certain timetable per se for daily, but duties range. The department, which I am, the Directorate for Public Affairs and Communications, deals with a couple of activities. Like, for example, we have the media review. There is also media relations, whereby there is dealing with linking the media to the organization, whereby if there are events, you call upon the media to come and showcase it. Then we have developing, packaging and disseminating of information. Now these are the IC materials I'm telling you about. Now here, our work basically is to, once the graphic design person works on them, ours is to probably go through them and proofread per se, or go through any changes if there are, and for them to the necessary people. There is events organization. There's a lot of judiciary functions which we also are required to attend and participate in. You may find in other days there's swearing in of people. You're supposed to organize the event. We are expected to do photography for the institution. We cover the event, be it photography or video. We take people through the transformation of judiciary from right in its initial stages up to where we are at date. And speaking of photography, we have various events in the judiciary calendar, whereby there is a sports day, which this year it happened in May. You go cover the event, be it in photography or video. You cover it and present it. When it comes to broadcast, as I've told you, it's photography, videography, there's interviews you may conduct. Like, for example, there are things we call court open days, whereby we march through the streets in town and tell the members of the public that there is a court, you need to come. So with that, we get to interact with members of the public. In terms of public relations, it's mainly events and probably liaising the organization with its publics. Yes. Some of the challenges I encounter are quite beyond me. Some of them, like loss of data. Like, for example, you've been sent to the field to cover something, and then it happens that if it's a camera, your memory card totally, it fails you totally. Like, it completely refuses to read. So now you get to lose all the information that you have. At times it is network failure, whereby the internet is probably slow or even not acting. I'd term it as a corruption-free zone, because the people who get to be caught engaging in such vices are dealt with thoroughly. I hear people get on suspension, people are dealt with thoroughly. There's an office which not many members of the public know. It's called Office of the Ombudsman, and this one is headed by the Deputy Chief Justice, whereby all complaints say if a member of public has a complaint against a judicial officer or a member of staff or against the institution at large, they get to complain to that office. So you see, they've really tried totally to get rid of all vices and practices. Like today as we speak, I got to photograph the former president of South Africa, Thabo Mbeki, and it was just a great honor and a delight. Another highlight of my time was when we visited Langata Women's Prison. All the lady justices, headed by the Deputy Chief Justice herself. She's a lady, Honorable Deputy Justice Mwilu. So it was just such a humbling moment, and yeah, such experiences, and rather some places whereby you get to see lawyers graduate. They're moved to the bar from the bench. It's that process. You just get a lot of exposure and experience, and it's quite fascinating. There are various events. There's that sports day, whereby it's every staff is actually required to go, and people actually turn up. Thousands of people came out the other day. During, let's say, shows, there is also what we call ask shows, whereby like Nairobi show. Now these ones we have for various places. Every county holds a show. Like next week, there is one coming up for Kisumu. I've ever been to Machakos, like about 3 weeks ago, and at the show there is a judiciary stand, and with that it's open to members of the public. So most guys which you get coming in are mainly students, and they ask questions until you remain, you get to learn from young people of the younger generation, and it's quite a challenge. We get to do what we call moot court, whereby we demonstrate to them how court works. We have even brochures which we give to them, and we demonstrate. We put a magistrate to sit there, a prosecutor, a lawyer, court clerk who is helping the judge. So you see, with that and the questions the pupils ask, you get to learn, oh, kumbe there is this. With the court, it has its own vocabulary, like appealing, something like there's a difference with magistrates and judges. There's just new terms you get to learn quite literally, and you get to use them on a daily basis, which is quite a wake-up call. It's not every person who knows how the court works or what have you. So there is actually always a new thing to learn. You get to interact with different people. Like each and every member of public, like for example, that office of the ombudsperson where people bring in complaints, you may get a very old man who's come maybe to retrieve their file, a file dated as back as 1956. They tell you of their experience with the court, how they were content, how, you get to really get a lot of exposure and learning. You get to learn and appreciate the justice system in Kenya. The judiciary is actually one of the arms of the government, and you get to appreciate how your country is governed and why and what have you. So far, I'm just I feel at home at that place. I feel it's the place I just needed to be, because I get to explore myself. I get to raise my passion. It's a place whereby I just feel very well connected. It's like a puzzle. Like I just feel like I completely fit. I've had some opportunities, and I've just had to let them go, because you focus on what you're doing as at now. Because you see, I'm not discouraging, but with media houses, for example, you given a specific role, a specific position of which you're restricted. It's kind of limiting. It's like this chair, you're not supposed to, move, or you're not flexible enough. But with where I'm working, you get to explore various fields totally and improve on your skills at large, which in hand you never know where it might land you in future.